All right, my friends, welcome back to the channel. SMMA versus dropshipping. Let's talk about it. So maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to get a business started online, or maybe you've started a business online and you're looking for a better option that's going to help you realize your dreams, achieve location independence, and maybe fire that boss who's been driving you absolutely insane. I can 100% relate. Before starting my own social media marketing agency with my business partner, Derek, I tried several businesses that failed and even lost me thousands of dollars. At the time, that was an astronomical amount of money, and believe me, I did not want to make that same mistake again. My goal for this video is that you can make an educated decision on which is best for you as a beginner or maybe a veteran, and know some of the differences and the pros and cons between SMMA and dropshipping. It's worth noting that yes, I do sell a course on how to start, grow, and scale a social media marketing agency with my business partner Derek, but we have worked extensively in the dropshipping industry, even running our own dropshipping business ourselves. For some of you, dropshipping might be a perfect business to get started with. For others, SMMA might be the way to go. So let's go ahead and jump into the computer and talk about some of the pros and cons of each so that you can decide what to go with. So first of all, why should you listen to me? I truly think that we're actually uniquely positioned in the fact that Derek and I have not only run our own SMMA as well as our own dropshipping business, we've also worked with some of the largest dropshipping and the largest e-commerce organizations, as well as through agency partners on behalf of them in front of their e-commerce clients as well. This means that we were heavily vetted by all different sorts of organizations for our ability to perform and deliver results to e-commerce and dropshipping clients. I really don't know of anybody else that's had success both in SMMA as well as in dropshipping. So let's talk about what is dropshipping. Put simply, dropshipping is a type of business in the e-commerce niche where you create an online store and you sell products manufactured by a third party who also takes care of shipping those to your end customer. Normally, these vendors are based in China or somewhere else overseas where the cost of goods is cheaper than here in the United States, where you can sell them to your end customer at a profit margin. In theory, your role in this whole operation is marketing and demand generation around that product, and your fulfillment partner and manufacturing partner take care of actually shipping that product to your end customer. Essentially, dropshipping is creating a retail store online that sells products manufactured by a third party who sells them to you cheaper than you sell them to your end customers for. This means that you make a profit or a margin on that good sold to your end customer. So what's an SMMA, or a social media marketing agency? So put simply, an SMMA is a business that helps clients build, grow, and monetize their social media. You work with clients on a monthly basis, providing skills and expertise around social media because they want to focus on running their actual business or the business that they started and they're actually passionate about. Most businesses started globally don't want to be social media experts. That's why they're starting whatever type of business it is that they're starting. They're looking for a partner that can help them with expertise around social media. In short, it's a service-based business where you're providing a monthly retained service to your client in exchange for your expertise and skills and efforts around growing their business through the use of social media. So gurus online love to throw rocks at each other. The dropshippers are always going to say that SMMA is super hard to start, and vice versa. SMMA is going to say dropshipping is super hard to start, and they're going to try and discourage you from ever getting started with either one. But the reality is that there's actually a ton of commonalities between these two businesses, especially when you're first getting started, and most specifically when you're actually first getting started. The longer you get into it, the more they tend to differentiate from one another. But these are also true to any type of business that you're ever going to start in the world. Doesn't matter if you're starting dropshipping, SMMA, a plumbing business, you're going to have these exact same things. You're going to have some sort of legal entity, whether you're a sole proprietor doing business as yourself, where you just use your social security number, or whether you're actually going to go ahead and incorporate, create an LLC, whatever it is. You're always going to have to do that. It doesn't matter what type of business you're starting. You always have to have that. You're going to need a name, obviously. You're going to need some sort of domain or website where people can find you online. You're going to need a business email where people can contact you, and you're going to need some sort of logo or brand. It doesn't matter if you're doing dropshipping or SMMA, you're going to need that for all of them. This way, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to look professional, you're going to look good online. These are must-haves in today's day and age, regardless of what type of business you're starting. So now let's talk about some of the differences. Let's talk about some of the pros specifically of dropshipping. So one of the biggest pros of dropshipping is if you're able to fully scale your dropshipping organization, you can make a ton of money with it. Due to sites like Shopify, AliExpress, and others, the barrier of entry to this business model is lower than it's ever been. It used to be, to do dropshipping, you would have to personally contact a supplier or a manufacturer. You'd have to prototype, iterate, invest a ton of money and sunken costs into creating some sort of good, and then they would take care of the manufacturing and the fulfillment for you. But you wouldn't be able to get to that point without spending tens of thousands of dollars creating those products to begin with, that they were then going to go create stamps, create manufacturing machinery around creating. Today, with the economy the way that it is, there's a huge, massive product selection for dropshipping products. You name it, you can probably dropship it. A big draw to dropshipping, as well as SMMA as well, is just that ability to have location independence. In theory, with dropshipping, you don't necessarily have have to touch the goods yourself. Your third party's taking care of the fulfillment and the shipment of it. So you're able to live that laptop digital nomad lifestyle if you want to with dropshipping as well as with SMMA. Overall, compared to other traditional business models like opening an actual physical retail store where you have to sign a lease, have a bunch of shelves and all sorts of stuff for all of your inventory, purchase inventory, all these drawbacks that come with traditional retail and traditional brick and mortar businesses, you dispense with dropshipping, which just means that it's a lot cheaper and easier to get started with it. So let's jump into the pros of SMMA. So the thing that really attracted me personally and Derek to SMMA was the fact that there's almost non-existent startup costs. I personally had just tried starting like 3 different businesses at the time of our SMMA over a period of a couple of years. And the one right before starting our agency really stung a lot because I sunk a couple grand into it, which at the time was just an astronomical amount of money for me to lose. We were able to get our business started for less than $150 and be up and running and rocking and rolling in no time, with our first client paying us $3,000 per month only a couple weeks into it. Nice thing about it as well is that there's an extremely low barrier of entry. 99.9% of business owners don't know anything about social media, which means that in a couple of weeks, you're able to have skills that exceed theirs, and they're gonna be willing to pay you thousands of dollars per month to work with them. Additionally, there's a very, very high profit margin with SMMA, especially if you're working as yourself or with a partner like Derek and I. You're able to actually fulfill on the services to get started with, which means that you're keeping 100% of those profits for yourself. You close a deal at $1,000 per month, you're keeping all of that $1,000. All of that profit margin is all yours to keep. Nice thing as well is it's an almost infinitely scalable client base in today's day and age. Hundreds of thousands of businesses, if not millions, are being opened in the United States alone every year, and globally there's millions and millions and millions of businesses to work with, all of which are finally awoken to the fact they need to be on social media. It's no longer optional. They know that it's the best place to get clients. They've seen all their friends do it, and they're eager to get started with an agency that can help them grow and scale their business through the effective use of social media. This means that demand is increasing, and with increased demand comes increased retainer prices. This means that our profits are going up from our agencies because the need and the want for our skills is continuing to increase. There's no sign of this slowing down in the slightest bit. It's only going to continue to increase for decades to come. Even new agency owners in our course, the SMMA Blueprint, are seeing retainers north of $1,000 per month only a couple weeks into the program. Just like dropshipping, a huge draw to myself as well as a lot of the other people getting started in SMMA is the ability to run it from anywhere in the world. I haven't seen a client in person in about 5 years at this point, and there's really no need to. Probably the single biggest draw to me though with SMMA is the fact that you close one client and the amount of money that you're able to make, even at $1,000 or $500 per month, is so significant that that's almost life-changing money for 99% of people. $500 a month, that's enough to start paying down your student loan much faster. That's enough to put a down payment on a car, whatever it is. That's life-changing money. And especially once you get into thousands of dollars in retainers, that's enough to leave your 9-to-5 job like Derek and I were able to only a couple months after starting our business. I can't think of any other business model that enables that type of freedom in such a short amount of time. So now let's talk about some of the cons. So some of the cons of dropshipping are the fact that there's very low margin on them. Normally you're dropshipping things that are fairly inexpensive, fairly transactional, which means that you're really not making that much money on every sale. Take iPhone cases, for example. Maybe you find somebody on AliExpress to sell iPhone cases to you for $2, you sell them for $15. It takes you $5 to market that product and make that sale. Your total sunken costs are $7 and you make $8 per sale. To get to $1,000 per month profit, you're gonna have to sell over 100 cases in a monthly period to make $1,000 on that after your costs. There's also high marketing and high customer acquisition costs. While the products themselves are cheap, unless you have a large audience or a large brand to begin with, you're gonna be investing a lot of money in marketing costs to get started. A lot of dropshipping companies end up paying social media marketing agencies to market their products, just like a lot of our clients have done. It's also very difficult to make your first sales. This is why when we work with people in the SMMA Blueprint, our program on social media marketing, we encourage them to work with local businesses that are easier to market than e-commerce. E-commerce is just very difficult to get started with. It's a very high demand skill set that requires a lot of attention, and you're gonna need to learn those skills if you wanna be making sales with your dropshipping business. This means that you're gonna be wasting a lot of your own money learning those skills on how to do this stuff, unless you have a TikTok video go viral or some of the other channels that are available in today's day and age. One of the biggest things that nobody really talks about is inventory issues. And this really comes on two sides of the dropshipping business, both of which Derek and I really felt the effects of when we were running our own dropshipping business. And we also saw this with a lot of our clients as well. When you're working with manufacturers and they're dropshipping your products, you really don't have control over their business and their inventory. It's very possible that they might run out of product and you won't be able to make any more sales to your customers until they get inventory back into that product that you're trying to sell. You might be killing it in your own small part of the world, but you might be a very insignificant player in comparison to their whole manufacturing operation. This means that you probably don't have a lot of clout when it comes to making sure that they have inventory, and this can be a real nightmare nightmare, and I've seen it for a ton of people in dropshipping really cause a lot of problems. The other side of inventory is when you're dealing with returns. A lot of sites like AliExpress, the customers don't actually return the good to the dropshipping company, they return it to you. This means that if they're not happy with the cheap good that they got from China, they return that to you, and it's up to you to figure out what to do with that. This means that you might be sitting on top of a lot of iPhone cases from people that have returned that, further eating into your profit margin. And as I mentioned earlier, to really generate a meaningful income at the profit margins that come with most dropshipping goods, you're gonna be having to make thousands of sales per month just to be able to make a decent income that'll enable you to leave your 9-to-5 job. So let's talk about some of the cons of SMMA. So one of the biggest cons of SMMA just really comes with scaling your business. Eventually you'll hit a limit, usually around $15,000 to $20,000 per month, where you as one person just really can't feasibly continue fulfilling the services yourself. Your 40-hour work week will be full and you'll want to start hiring team members. It's just difficult for you to work with more businesses beyond that. For most people, $15,000 to $20,000 per month is more money than they will ever make in their entire lives, and that's more than enough income for most people. But eventually, if you want to grow beyond that, you're gonna have to build a team. Derek and I did that. We've scaled our business to $100,000 per month, but it's really come as a result of the team that we've been able to build to work for our agency. Another major drawback of SMMA is just the fact that you're working with people, you're working with clients. Clients have feelings, they can tell you their opinions, and they're not always going to agree with you, even if you know what's best for their business. And finally, you're gonna have some sort of salesmanship when it comes to SMMA. You're gonna have to earn trust with people. You're gonna have to learn how to convince them that you know what you're doing and that you can help their business. In short, you just have to be okay with a little bit of rejection to get through some of the no's to get to that yes of the person willing to give you a shot as your first client for your social media marketing agency. This is a big focus of our program, the SMMA Blueprint, equipping you with the skills to have confidence and to actually know how to position yourself in front of your first couple clients, get some deals in the door, and start scaling your agency in a couple of weeks. I'll link that down below if that sounds interesting to you. So which of these is best? Obviously, they both have their pros and cons, and at face value, they're honestly pretty similar businesses to one another. But really what it comes down to, at least in my personal opinion, is the rate with which you're able to get results and start changing your life. I always like to say that SMMA is the best first business to start online. You can quickly generate a meaningful income that's gonna achieve massive change and massive results in your life, maybe enable you to quit your 9-to-5 job in a very short amount of time, or avoid having to ever get a 9-to-5 altogether. You can get your agency started, you can start generating more income than maybe you would ever be able to do at your day job, enable yourself to live a life on your own terms and leave your 9-to-5 job for good or avoid it altogether. And then if you're truly passionate about e-commerce and you want to dabble and get in the space down the line, reinvest your profits from your agency in starting a dropshipping business. That's what Derek and I did, and that's what I would recommend to anybody. You'll learn through your agency the skills needed to do dropshipping and to be competitive in the e-commerce space, but you'll be doing so by generating tens of thousands of dollars for yourself running your agency the whole time. This will give you the freedom to go and dabble with those new business models should you choose to do so. I've just seen so many people get started with dropshipping and come over to SMMA wishing that they had started with SMMA first because they just invested so many of their own dollars into their dropshipping business, and they ended up paying a social media marketing agency to fulfill those services for them anyways. If they just learned the basics of social media marketing by running an SMMA, working with businesses, having a ton of fun doing it, they probably would have been more successful in less time, and that's exactly what they told us. So there you have it. I truly hope that this was helpful for you making your own decision on whether to jump into a dropshipping business or whether to jump into the SMMA space. Again, this is completely up to you. The beauty of being an entrepreneur is you can start whatever business you want, you can go with your gut, and you can go down whatever path you want to choose for yourself. If SMMA sounds like something that would be good to get started with, check out the description down below for the SMMA Blueprint, or check out this video that talks about how you can start an SMMA for $0. It'll get you on your way, get some momentum going for your business, and I look forward to seeing your future success. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.